Hello, Flosstube friends. Hi, my name is Lana, and this is my very first Flosstube. It is December 20th, and happy winter solstice eve. So, I am very excited to get started, finally taking the plunge. I did record my first Flosstube in February, and just did not have the right phone or equipment to make it work. It was, I had older equipment and just was very hard to upload. So I think I'm all set. I just upgraded my phone experience, so here we are. So I have been watching everybody else doing their floss tubes and really wanted to join in. It just seems like it's so much fun, and I wanted to just share that this is Silly Notions floss tube, and it's primarily going to be a channel about cross stitch and hand sewing, hand stitching. I do some English paper piecing. I've done crochet, but right now my passion is cross stitch, so that's what we're going to focus on. And I wanted to give some immediate shout outs to some of my favorite floss tubers. It all started with, they probably started with a different one, but Brenda and the serial starter Laura the best, they were introduced to me by a friend, and while I don't really do a whole lot of sampler stitching, I just love the two of them together. And in that first winter of our COVID experience, it was just so wonderful to, you know, wait and watch for them. I was unemployed at the time as well, and so not going out very much, and that was just a huge joy. So I just love them together. And Pam and Steph just keep stitching. I started watching them probably in early 2021, I believe, and it's so funny, like Steph just recently was celebrating her birthday. Happy belated birthday to you, and so gaga over one of the celebrities that wished her a happy birthday, and I thought to myself, well, that's how we feel about the two of you when you read one of our comments. I was one of the lucky people that had one of my comments pinned, and so I look forward to hopefully meeting some of these floss tubers in the future. I love Michelle, Mama Loves You, GB. She was probably, no, she wasn't the first floss tuber that I watched, but I really needed to watch her first Flossmas of 2020. I had to have foot surgery that Thanksgiving, and was truly had to take to my bed, as Laura would say. And Michelle kept me going with her daily Advent floss tubes, as well as bumble stitches, because I was in bed for 2 weeks trying to keep my foot elevated. So I also love Michelle McGraw. I think she just has such cool, creative ways that she changes up her colors, and I've sort of shamelessly copied her in certain things, so you'll see those hopefully along the way. Lori Holt, of course, and the Saltbox Stitcher Carol. I'm so excited to watch her latest one for Christmas. And I love Stitching by the Lake. So sorry I don't remember her name right now, but she's a delightful Southern lady who is a retired teacher. I just love watching her. So she's so soothing. And also the one of the most recent ones is the Disorderly Stitcher, fellow Pennsylvanian, and she's also a quilter like me, so there's some commonality there. So, and the disorderly part, you know, as you can see. So I thought I would just say that yes, I'm based in Eastern Pennsylvania, and I have the pleasure to be on the edge of Lancaster County and also Lebanon County, so there's a lot of influence of stitching and fabric, and I have plentiful fabric stores to go to, which is wonderful. And I have 2 local needlework shops that I can go to. Stitches Unlimited, which is in the Lancaster area, and then Hodgepodge, which is Strasburg in Lancaster County. So very awesome places. So I thought I would show you this. This is where it all began in September of 2020. I had taken a lot of quilting classes and gone on retreats with the Old Country Store, and my teacher Andrea decided she realized how big cross stitch was coming back, and she did a cross stitch class. So I was so eager, like before I even got to the class, I was like, I don't know if I can handle this. I had always seen, patterns in, Michaels or whatever, and all these crazy characters. I'm like, it looks like it's, spy language or something. I don't understand how you can figure out where you're going to put the colors and things like that. So I found a little kit, just a little dimensions kit in a thrift store, and it was, the type that everything's prepared for you, and it was irises and just a very small square. Never finished it because I got very excited very quickly about other things. So, but this is where it all started, and I remember being out on my patio. I was selling my house that year. My job ended, my job of like over 15 years ended because of a reorganization 2 weeks before we all shut down for the change of our lives with the pandemic. So I took advantage of that opportunity and decided to sell my house and move back closer to my mom. She is a feisty octogenarian, and I wish that she would cross stitch, but she is very supportive of my passions and things. So, but I remember, some of the last times on my own patio at that house, pulling this out and working on it. And so I wanted to also jump in and share, this was my first FFO. So I bet many of you can recognize whose chart that would be. And that was a Lori Holt from maybe the very first stitch cards, A or B maybe, sets. And I used, I believe this is the 10 count fabric that I got from Fat Quarter Shop. That is a Lori Holt fabric, and Ada cloth. And so it was really exciting. We were talking in this first class that I had about, you don't have to get things framed anymore, all the time. You know, there's all these, different containers that you can do, or whatever it might be. So there was a sort of a private type craft warehouse in my area that was going out of business for like the 3rd time. And on their clearance table, they had these little wooden containers. So I was like, okay, perfect. My price range, being unemployed, and decided to go for it. So this was how I finished it. And this fabric around here is some of my Liberty of London fabric. So I will probably be talking about that a little bit more in future segments. Okay. I'm going to just keep going here. I've probably forgotten to tell you some things with my introduction, but that's okay. So, here is another, I'll jump into my Christmas FFOs. So, also still back in that 2020 time frame. I had started stitching a bunch of things. I fell in love with Glitter Village. Well, that, actually, I was probably waiting for that to ship. We were all crazy about ordering things that year, and I discovered to the Fat Quarter Shop Black Friday sale. So I ordered quite a lot that year. But Christmas was quickly, rapidly approaching, and I did not have anything finished. So this was a freebie that year, and I quickly got that together. I had already purchased this. I think this was like Priscilla and Chelsea had shown something like this, and it was a Michael's purchase. So this board is actually, you could just pull this out. I don't have it glued in here, so I have it mounted on another background and have it tucked in there. And then I did the exact same tree. We were really cleaning out my mom's garage that fall after I had downsized my house and thought I got rid of a lot of things. I did not, and so I did move in with my mother, and she does not have a garage here, so we had to really figure out how to jam pack everything into the garage. Well, I didn't realize how many little treasures I would find vintage wise that I could turn into little notions, so little pin cushion holders and things like that. So that's a little bit more of what is to come in my Silly Notions YouTube Flosstube channel. How I've taken some unlikely, maybe even some broken pieces or pieces that broke off of something else and turned them into something that's sewing stitchy related. But what I was going towards is that I found this cute little skillet, and it is truly cast iron little skillet that has like an Amish man's head on it, and it's totally from probably like a 70s time frame when there was a lot of that touristy types of souvenirs out there. So it's just a little square area. I did a small tree, covered that, and glued it into the skillet, and it is now an ornament. So I was very excited to finish that in time for Christmas that year. This year's, oh, I forgot about this one. So this is Joy. Ta-da! I think I can take this cord off and the light will then work once I put some batteries in this. But I believe this was also from a freebie in 2020, and I just took an element of the chart, used more of this 10 count fabric to just be able to quickly pull something together and get it in this really cute frame. And I do believe this was from Michael's because it does not have the Hobby Lobby info on there. So now for this year, I'm very excited to say that I have a delightful FFO to show you. This is Stitching with the Housewives. I believe it was Ho 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 from last year, and I totally love it. I filled it with walnut shells. This is ticking that I found at a remnant bin, in a remnant bin somewhere. This is a little hat that for some reason my cute little tuxedo cat doesn't want to wear. It even has a little beard with a mouse on it, but he doesn't want to wear it. So I decided to go with it and just make this happen. So this is pinned in here right now, but the pins are not quite long enough, so I probably will tack it down or glue it, but I might just do a few little tacking stitches, but I love it. The fabric is an Aida that was just probably thrift store white, and this was also that 2020 period, that the fabric I did, I stitched this in 2021. I think maybe I finished it this year, finished actually stitching it, but the fabric, I don't know if the color is showing accurately. I dyed it teal, everyone was going out and doing the aqua dyeing over that winter, I remember, because Priscilla and Chelsea were showing a lot of charts that way. Well, I couldn't find any aqua rip dye. I was going to so many different places. So I'm like, all right, I'll try the teal. And I love it. It came out really nice. So I see a piece peeking over at me, and might do some more of that. So I just love it. Now, I don't know who it was, but I think it was on Instagram. Someone had done this exact same chart, and I really love how she did it. This is all, the Ho Ho Ho's I think are all black, and I think she just did not do the white at all, and like didn't make the white black. And I love it. I really love how that look turned out. And then she even she left off these flowers, and it was really cute. So I think I might have to stitch this one again for like an exchange, for a smalls exchange. So we'll see. I have so much to stitch. How do we all get it done? Okay, so I think I'm already at 16 minutes. I was going to try to keep this one a little brief. I think I'll be coming back out with another one really pretty soon, because I have lots to talk about. So, okay, so for Christmas whips, I am, as I was saying, I've been working on Glitter Village. Oh my gosh, something came over me a few weekends ago, and I was like, I have got to get that back out again. So, here is a project bag I made for it. I love that, that's a little sparkly at the bottom, and these houses have some sparkle to them, too, in the fabric. It's hard to see. So, I think I got everything out already. And with these bags, I just needed some really quick bags, so I did not bother quilting them. I sort of made them in a way that you can do pillowcases, quick purses. So I could have done some stitching to quilt them, but they turned out really cute. And then inside it's got like a snowflake pattern. So that's great for like winter stitching, not just Christmas. So this one I just finished the other night, and I am using this mint green opalescent Ada that I got from Fat Quarter Shop back in 2020, so I don't know if they still carry this. I have had trouble. I used to see it in like Hobby Lobby or Joann's. I think it's the DMC type of Ada, but I haven't been seeing this. I've been seeing it in pink, and I definitely grabbed the pink because I was worried I wasn't going to have enough of this, but I do realize now that I do have enough. So my point being that if you go and if you've stitched this yourself, or you follow it on Instagram or anything, you will see that this house is actually supposed to be more of like a darker version of this aqua, which I loved because it totally reminds me of a building in Bermuda, a place that I've gone to in Bermuda, and this building totally looks like that, but I do love it in the purple. So I had a really fun time, even though I had a dilemma in picking this. I picked this because I am still heavily an Ada stitcher. I have been purchasing plenty of linens to try, and finally the trick for me was in October. I went to a retreat at Salty Yarns in Ocean City, Maryland. Had a delightful time meeting, now I will mess up their names, Sandy and Sarah. So Sandy is the mother, and she, to be able to continue stitching, she stitches on linen that is about a 20 count. Well, she changed my world. So she said, I'm telling you girls, if you do this, you're not going to want to go back to the, higher counts. So I started with some pilgrims on this gorgeous fabric. It's like an ivory, and I think it is the Legacy brand. And now that Michelle in her Advent Flossmas just showed us some of the recent freebies, the tree with the words hope, believe, joy, all the good words. I think I want to do that on the linen and make a little pillow with that. And there was another one, oh, Merry and Bright. I kind of thought about for that, but I feel like the tree, now that I saw her stitch it up and what it looks like, I think I'm going for the tree. But see here, I'm digressing. I'm showing you Glitter Village and I'm going off on different tangents, but I don't know. So I'm loving this. I was about to call this done. Now there are supposed to be snowflakes up here. I think I need to find me some cute snowflake buttons, and they're going to go sprinkled up there. I saw somebody do that on another Country Cottage Needleworks, one of the calendar designs, and I loved it. Sometimes snowflakes and me do not get along because I get a little out of the alignment. So I do agree with Kimberly Jolly's philosophy. She said a long time ago, I like to stitch fast. I need to stitch fast because she stitches everything. And I do like that too. That's how I keep my interest. I am not very much of a monogamous stitcher. That's how my personality is. I just find I'm curious about a lot of different things. I find interest in a lot of different things. I stitch with the season. I do stitch in hand. I did want to mention that early in my introduction. So I stitch in hand, and that's bringing me back to the Ada. I love so many of these series from Country Cottage Needleworks, and I'm just not feeling that I want to slow myself down enough to stitch them on linen, if that makes sense. So let me show you these. I feel like this is a Brenda and Laura moment of, you're almost finished with that, get it done. So I am going to absorb some marching orders on my own there and get that cute darling little church finished. I did finish this one last year. Isn't it delightful and so cute? I had to stitch that one first. I totally did mess up these trees. They are supposed to be white, and I more of like a white and brown, like a almost like a birch looking or something, and I do love that look, but I did green. Now I'm noticing that I did do my snowflakes on here, and that was what I was starting to say before in the other house. I was going to call it done and not do these little doodads on the bottom here, but I did it on this one, so we'll see if I continue with that. Here's another one that's in progress. Just love those colors. So what I had done when I decided and realized, okay, the called for colors was not going to work fully on this mint green, I went to town and purchased a number of purples that I just thought I could maybe swap out some. And so this was how I handled that. I just did some sample stitches and wrote down the numbers. Just to try out what I wanted to land on. Alright, so enough of Glitter Village. Okay, so something else that I want to get started, and I did start, but I am not quite thrilled with. This is Fiber on a Whim Pistachio. This is 16 count. And this is the start of the quilt shop of the Hometown, Holiday Hometown series. I just love villages and stitching villages, so I have really found my true passion with all the Country Cottage villages. Except that I am not so much into the to the color scheme for this, and I know like there will be gasping right now out there. I did purchase the colors, so I would be all ready to go. And doesn't it seem really odd that I would pick this green, this pistachio? But I wanted to do something different. I struggle sometimes with the linen colored, the tan colored backgrounds, and then trying to making sure there's going to be enough contrast. So with the Aida, I really do like these over-dyed Aidas, and so Picture This Plus is usually my go-to, but now I really like Fiber on a Whim. I do want to check into Color and Cotton because I just see people saying such great things about that as well. I loved finding this alternate green because in going with more of a cooler background, I had to change up some of the other colors. So this is Weeks Dye Works Chesapeake, and I got that when I was at Salty Yarns. The camera is not exactly showing how rich this green is, and it's so funny, like, you know, you hear Chesapeake and I would sort of think more blue, but I just love that for the trees. So after I got the pistachio, kind of realized, okay, I don't know about these colors together, the called for colors. And believe me, others who have stuck with it, they look beautiful, of course. I am trying to find this little piece of fabric that I got inspiration from. So please hold. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Okay, well, maybe I will find it, but I got inspiration from this very cute Christmas fabric. It's a little village that I just found in December, and I am taking the color scheme from that, I believe, to help me out, and just switching out a few colors. The village on that fabric, one house is like sort of like a cornflower blue, and another house might be in like a pink scheme or something like that. So I really love it. I love it so much that I can't find it. Alright, so I'm going to just keep moving along here and get into some other whips. So this is my first Prairie Schooler. I like some of the Prairie Schoolers, but I'm not an overly prim chart lover, and like I said, I don't do a lot of samplers, but in future segments, especially in the winter, this is when I get excited to do this. Living where I do, there are actually some samplers that were stitched in this area, and what I'm trying to do is actually correlate them to my family history. There is some likelihood that the early settlements of Berks County, where my relatives settled, may have gone to church with, been in the same community. They were absolutely in the same community with the stitchers of these samplers, and that just gets me all excited. Picture, you know, being in this country, having come from Europe, speaking a different language, no roads, no grocery store, you barely have your own farm and your farmhouse, and something like being able to have the supplies to sit and stitch a sampler. I mean, it's mind-boggling. Some of the samplers in the area would have been done in the early 1800s, so there was definitely more trade obviously going on, like, and you know, Philadelphia was nearby, and but still, the supplies would have been coming up on boats up the Schuylkill River or Delaware rivers and things like that, probably. So more to come on that, so that will be exciting to show. But back to the Prairie Schoolers. See, this is a disaster. I'm like all over the place. I did change the colors on some of these, and I was at a retreat with some of my Stitchy sisters, and I started a whole bunch of these there. I got some of these like blocks of the same color going before I left the house. I had my needles filled with the threads ready to go and just sort of parked over here on the side, so I could literally just sit and fill in, and it was wonderful to do that. And I think I said before that I do stitch in hand, so, you know, some things are not, you know, the most perfect coverage and things, but I just love the activity of it and being able to see, you know, a finished product. I wanted to have a few of these finished and on the tree for this year, and, you know, I have 4 or 5 more days, right? Okay. I did want to show this project bag since it's a Christmas oriented one. I was trying something out here. I made this 2 years ago, and it's sort of like a peekaboo project bag. I know some people really love, you know, this patchwork style. I also had a leftover quilt block and made this side with my quilt block. It was already quilted that way. But we also like the vinyl, so I was trying something out here. It's not as finished looking on the inside, but it's quite darling and cute. So that is, I'm keeping my hometown holidays in there. Alright, and something else I have kitted up. I purchased this last year, late in the season. This is called Winter Fairy Tale Town, and it's actually a little bit more, you know, just general winter. So I'm excited to get that going. This is by Little Fox Stitching on Etsy. Okay, and here are the, just going with DMCs for that one. Of course, I'm showing it in an organza bag that, you know, can't quite see through. There we go. All right. All right. So I'm gonna move on to haul. Let me start with the charts. So, has everyone been checking out this and these series of these Christmas sweaters with the kitties? So I do have a tuxedo cat, and I do want to try to do that, but I realize that using the black tones, I have to figure out how to do that, because his little white chest will be covered up by the sweater. So, but I love this one. And that is by Stitch with Coffee Designs. So that, of course, would be right up my alley. I need to be having my coffee. These are stitches by Ethel, found at Hodgepodge. Very cute. This is Christmas Wishes. And Mr. Bean's Garden. So he'll be cute for Easter. Tempted to do him on the large fabric. Maybe not do quite as many of the flowers. So we'll see about that. And, oh, the other thing that is at Hodgepodge right now, Grace Notes is a fabric dyer that she is now supplying at Hodgepodge. she was just really struggling because so many of us were going in there, do you have picture this plus this and picture this plus that, and you know, all the supply issues that we've been having. So she was able to find this dyer, and people are really enjoying her fabrics. So this is called Blueberry Milkshake, which is delightful. My lighting just is not going to do it justice at all. But notice, it's a linen. So there you go. I'm all set. You can see some of the modeling in there. This is, oh, it's Lugana. It's a 25 count Lugana. Looks a little small for 25 count, just saying. And this is Grace Notes. This is called Jane Billy, something of that nature. And this is an Ada, and it is 18 count, but it is really some cute pink modeling for, I'm thinking Easter. But one of my friends said, you know, well, that would be also great for Christmas, you know, some Christmas charts. And the last one that I picked up at Hodgepodge, last chart I picked up and started working on, is Mousecapades. Mousecapades 1. And this is by Mitzi Purcell, Luminous Fiber Arts, of course. And I just have this so far. I decided I wanted it on this very vibrant blue. And this is an Ada. All right, so we are moving right along. Also in my haul section, I had a gasping moment when Pam received her, of Just Keep Stitching, received her gift exchange at StitchCon. I believe it was StitchCon this past year. And someone gave her this. Now, the finished product was just gorgeous, and I was like, I must have that. So, a friend of mine included it in her order, so we did not have shipping. She ordered it up, so we didn't have shipping. And so this will be my very first Mill Hill kit that I will actually work on. I do own a few. I just have never actually gotten them out. But I think this will be really a cool, probably like a good New Year's start. Just loving the idea that all the thread is, you know, cut for me and prepared. So, looking forward to that. Another thing that I just recently found, speaking of silly notions, is these cute little, I do use a happy planner, and I think I found these on clearance at Joann's, and they are light cardstock crossing into the cardboard arena, and I thought, oh, well, maybe the white pieces would help be a template, even if I'm not cutting the stitched, finished cross stitch this shape. Maybe it's a background for the fabric behind it and putting the cross stitch on the front. Got a star. Thought that might even work for patriotic stitches and the shape. So that was a cute find. I had fully intended on talking about a Silly Notion segment with a cute little sign and everything. So maybe we'll get to that. Not that this is a notion, but I think it was 2 weekends ago now. I did a yo-yo class at the local history center, and it is an area that is was settled by Pennsylvania Dutch, and that does not mean that it was just settled by Amish. Pennsylvania Dutch is a very broad term defining the group of Germans who came from the Rhineland area of Germany and came through. Did they come through? They did come through Amsterdam and eventually came here. Actually, William Penn basically recruited people to get some cheap land here. So they try to do programs that are preserving the traditions of, you know, former, now I'm really struggling, generations. So I, of course, have yo-yo templates and things, and I have made yo-yos that way, but I did want to learn from somebody, you know, how you just sew these from raw circles. So you cut circles of different sizes, and you're essentially sewing a little hem and cinching that together to create a circle. And then we cut a little slit in the center of each yo-yo. You know, each one of these is called a yo-yo. And she had these spools. These are not, these were craft spools from like Michael's or something. But she had them already pre-drilled and the dowels stuck in them for us, glued. They're glued down here. And then you just layer your yo-yos to create a tree. And the very top, I get to put, she had her grandmother's button box there, loaded with buttons, because you wear something out till it's rags and you cut the buttons off. My grandmother cut out the zippers. We found cut out elastic straps and all sorts of things to reuse them. But this button was awesome. I felt very fortunate to find that little swirl. So that will get just glued to the top, and that will be my cute and silly notion for the season. So I'm just about ready to finish that. Okay. And I think that's about it. I totally had grand ideas for other things, but that will be enough for now. So I've really enjoyed this. I hope that I did okay, and I wish everyone a wonderful holiday season and a wonderful new year, however you celebrate time with family and friends. So I hope to see you again next time. Thank you. Bye-bye from Lana, Silly Notions Flosstube.